Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Today we have Mr. Jainendra Jain with us. A brief about Mr. Jainendra. Mr. Jainendra has done his bachelor's and master's from Maharshi Dayanand Saraswati University, Ajmer, Rajasthan, and with an experience of more than 2 decades in research, manufacturing, operations, quality management. Currently, he is a director and CEO of Invigorate Biotechnology, which is an LLP firm, which he started. So we have an entrepreneur, researcher turned into entrepreneur. With this brief introduction, we'll welcome Mr. Jainendra at the platform by thanking that you took this time out from your precious, and we can understand the busy schedule of entrepreneurs. So thank you very much and welcome, Mr. Jainendra.
Thank you, Dr. Raj. Thank you very much for having me on this platform. I'm really happy to be here, and let's start our discussions. You rightly said that I have started my company. It will be 2 years in December, so it is a pretty new thing. But yes, the more than 2 decades of experience and having a good team, that means it is integrated by it.
Okay, so let's start the conversation by asking that how and when you decided that you want to become a researcher.
A very interesting anecdote, I would say, when I was doing my masters. So enrolled for PhD when I was in NDDB Anand from Sayajirao, Baroda. So that when I entered in NDDB Anand Biotechnology Division, it was a division of National Dairy Development Board, Biotech Division, and primarily working on zoonotics,
Mhm.
specifically cattle and human interactions of. So that time I was working on Brucellosis and I got myself enrolled. But somehow after 2 years of research, I dropped out and chose commercial line. So that was my first interaction when I thought that I must complete my research. I have that inclination. But later on, yes, I again enrolled and now means in midway of my research. So you can say post completing my degree, a master degree, means I had that inclination not to going in manufacturing or control quality control. I must start with research.
So we always say that once a researcher, always a researcher. If you have that an
Researchers,
aptitude,
yes,
then you cannot
yeah, yeah,
follow a streak. Like if somebody tells you that, okay, you have just follow the guidelines. So it is tough to follow them without utilizing or giving your own input into that, which actually is mostly research about. So
well said.
after the masters, when you started already like working and already had these avenues where you could have built a career, it's like you chose a different path, which is not which everyone takes. People are very hesitant that what will be the success rate if we'll take this? Will it be, feasible, not failure? So we'll go to the startup later, but we'll start with the journey that over the decades when you decided that, okay, you want to pursue research. Were there any thoughts when you thought that you should do a PhD?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When because look, I completed my education in Rajasthan, and the subject was very new in mid 90s. I'm talking about 96, 97, once when I completed my degree. So, not going into a conventional degree in research in microbiology or in zoology. Microbiology specifically, when botany and zoology I'm talking about, because in Rajasthan the trend was like that. So when I reached Gujarat and I qualified one exam to get entered in Central Salt and Marine Chemical Research Institute, that is in Bhavnagar. It is a CSIR lab, primarily working on various kind of algae and uh, blue-green algae and algae. So after getting there the assignment of project associate, that time I realized that immediately I should get register myself as a PhD guy, PhD student. So that was the first thing when I thought of that. And unfortunately, that project got shelved off due to some reasons which I am not still aware of why it had happened. So I qualified another exam that is National Dairy Development Board that takes for their research associates in their biotech division. So once I qualified that, and I immediately get enrolled in Sayaji Rao University in biotech division. Biotech division.
Mhm.
So that time it was the first instance when I realized that I must complete my PhD to be in, because that kind of inclination is always there to do research,
Mhm.
and back of the mind, we must I must do something like that can recognition me give me recognition in research field. So
Mhm.
that was the first instance when my my mentor and project lead, Dr. Falguni Mukherjee, was instrumental to get me registered for PhD, and Dr. Hassan,
Mhm.
who actually guided me and forced me, yes, you must get, try to fulfill your dream of being a actual researcher by completing your PhD.
So how that journey went?
Initially, I felt really good. It was really good feeling when I submit my synopsis and all that. But when the project I was involved in demands my time also,
Mhm.
and it was taking certain time because either I should be full time PhD scholar, or because there was a setup or understanding between NDDB and Sayaji Rao University that their research associate can get registered for PhD and they can do work over there because project can be related to that. So we were doing that, and I was working on bovine TB. Uh,
Mm.
so somehow things did not work out in my favor, and that project took taking more time of me. Uh, Instead of I can you know contribute for my own research or my own. So these conflicts were happening, and time was passing. So uh, journey, you can say, it was initially a very happy mode, but later on I was a bit disappointed, and then left the organization after 2 years and joined Zydus Schedule.
So this is
So the
something which
dream left over there.
yeah, so this is something which we discuss at this platform where researcher
Yeah.
celebrities like we have most of the successful candidates who have pursued their PhD, but here at this platform we always try to say that your mental health comes first. There is nothing wrong in quitting or giving up on it because a researcher is not stuck with an idea. Okay, they if you think you are a researcher, you can go anywhere and do your research. It is not like you have to have a PhD degree. So
Right.
let's talk a little bit about, based on your experience, what you can guide the current generation. At least in our times when we used to do PhD, we have to go to library, get those hard copy journals, read the papers in there. Now everything is in tips of, either phone or laptop. And they are not very well trained for handling the crisis situation which you have walked through and decided not to pursue it after 2 years. So even after the investment of 2 years, which is quite a time, you chose you you chose your peace of mind, you chose your mental health on top of everything, and then you moved to industry. So what you can guide to the students who are currently experiencing it, because in current scenario in India, what has been observed that the dropouts after 4 years, after 5 years from PhD, and in very sad cases and circumstances when the students commit suicide. So how you can guide and motivate them?
Yeah, doctor, it is a very well raised point by you. And believe me, as I said, my earlier first year or first and a half year, you can say, it was a rosy picture for me at least, because there was nothing wrong from the system side, like from university or from NDDB per se. But obviously, since as a student, when we enter after completing the degree, there were certain kind of pressures. There are certain kind of pressure like getting into the job or following your passion and doing your things which you like. So the situation is, I would say, more uh, towards technical now. But you very well explained that in our time it was time consuming because getting things from library, getting attended the seminar, doing research, spending time in lab, setting your experiments. So all are time consuming things. Still, they are time consuming things still. Uh, but once you are focused and determined, you should go for what you have decided, whether it is research, whether it is industry, whether you want to choose another line or MBA or want to be a player or want to be a media guy from science side, whatever you choose. But you decide first. Don't rush whatever you are thinking, and if you are double minded, I would say make an Excel chart, Excel sheet, decide your yes and no, put down your questions, put down your future path, what would you like to do. Are you ready with plan B if plan A is failing or not working for you, which happened with me in particular? So, such kind of preparation will help definitely. And if anyone in your circle, whether it is in your family or friend circle or someone's elder people or friends, elder brother, sister who are doing PhD or have done it and placed somewhere, whether it is private field or in government, discuss with them, discuss your plan, your view, and then you can find a make your chart or path that how you would like to proceed with your futuristic things. But yes, you need to be focused because what I believe is it is on you who will decide what to do. Nobody will come to actually make a space or they can guide, they can be mentored, but it is you who has to help yourself.
Yes.
So I would say be focused on what you want to do. Prepare yourself in a best way and then go for it.
Absolutely. So I would like to say to all the audience here that Mr. Jainendra raised a really good point here that before you commit to PhD or any kind of either you are doing industrial research or academic research, you should always do a SWOT analysis that what is your passion, what are your strengths and your weaknesses, which needs to be worked on, how you will use the skill set you know to pursue the path you want to take, how will you travel, what are the shortcomings and how you can overcome that. Yes, we can say that no one can think of future absolutely, but again, to overcome that part, Mr. Janendra mentioned about plan A and plan B. So you should always, like, everyone has more than one hobbies, more than one passion at one point of time or over the period of time. Once you commit
Yeah,
yourself, do if you have done all the background work, all the homework with due diligence and with care, there is no way that you can fail yourself because, as Mr. Jain said, that you are the one who can help yourself. People might be there to contribute to your success or failure, but it is at the end of the day you who choose to be there or not to be there. Coming back to the conversation, Mr. Jain, when you joined Zydus, from there onwards, how was this journey? And then we will cover the journey till the decision when you made that, okay, now you will start up your own industry.
yeah. So, coming from a state like Rajasthan and entering in a state like Gujarat, a vast difference. Gujarat is a industrialized state since long, and Rajasthan, I believe, is still far lagging behind in terms of the industries, specifically industry related to pharma or biotech. There are certain clusters in Rajasthan, like in northern Rajasthan, Bhiwadi is there, or some part of Jaipur. We can say pharma is there, but biotech is still is not as much present as should have been. So entering in Gujarat and trying all these options for myself, once I got the opportunity to be in Zydus Cadila, which was 4 5 years back, that time when I joined, split into Zydus and Cadila Pharma. Earlier it was a Laboratories. Cadila Laboratories was a company, so it is split it into two, and one was Jaidus Group, which was Pankaj Bhai Patel Group, and otherwise other one was a Modi, Indramalji Modi, Indradhoji Modi. So I joined Zydus Group, and fortunately, I got selected in their upcoming vaccine division, which was it was year 2000. So I was chosen to work in rabies vaccine, and that time I got really got my first kick. Like, wow, whatever I studied, specifically because I was a student of microbiology. So whatever I studied, now I am doing that. Now I'm doing that, how vaccines are made, what are the commercial scales plants, what is GMP, how the things done, how quality control is done, how the production is done. So all those things which we used to study in books, that large scale or industry microbiology or large scale manufacturing topics. So I was seeing all those things in front of me, and I thoroughly enjoyed those my early years in industry, and learned really. I mean, my learning path was, I believe it was fantastic, and I climbed quick stairs of, you can say, growth, and really enjoyed all those things because it was endless learning, technology, and your theory things. So together, it was a real amalgamation of biotech.
Absolutely. So now, how different was that? Because you mentioned that you spent almost 2 years or more in academic research when you were trying to get the follow the path for PhD and all. And then you joined the industrial research where you live, like you were able to see all of those, the theoretical, either it is the bioreactors or the system, you can actually do all of those things by your own hand.
Right.
So the skill set which you got in your academic research or by theoretical knowledge, you were utilizing that in your industrial part. But if I may ask, which of these two journeys were more fulfilling to you?
Doctor, you need we need both things. Like when we are studying, we need to get soaked into principles, what we are actually doing in lab. So, like experimenting, we are planning in lab, or doing the commercial part or the industrial part in a phase, are correlated, because you need to have accustomed with what kind of study you have done, and now translating that into your work. Uh, Different part is that all those things are well set up in industry, and in your lab, in your academics, it is you who has to decide. You have to find, you have to plan everything at that end. So whether it is principle of pH or making a normal solution, and when it comes to making a normal solution of 1,000 liter of, say, any buffer, entirely different thing. Principle is same, but you have to be well versed with all those things. Uh, One incident I would state later, but yes, your foundation should be solid. Otherwise, you are not fit for industry,
Yes.
because you will not qualify the interview rounds. You will be thrown out in between if they found that you are not competent enough. So you have to be solid enough in your base. Foundation should be good. Probably nowadays they don't see your academic marks or grades, but they see or look for how practical you are, uh, how solid you have done your uh, academics. They are more interested in that. So I would say both are fulfilling for me, because whatever we have learned at our masters, in our masters, I could utilize in my initial learning in industry, plus the training I was given or imparted by the company actually made me a more wise man after spending some time, some years in industry. So this would be my take on that. Get yourself ready while you are in your academics. If you are going for PhD, get yourself ready in that manner. Or if you want to get into industry, get yourself in that. So that is
Absolutely.
important.
Nice. So here I would like to tell all the students or enthusiasts who want to pursue the route through industry that even after PhD, if you join in industry, most of the time they say that you start as a fresher. And if you start after a master's, then also you are a fresher. And within these 5, 6 years, depending on how long your PhD will be, you are gaining experience. Plus, you might get opportunity to pursue PhD in your industry, depending on the industry you
Exactly.
have joined and the programs they offer. So, if you in a longer run want to join industry, you can always start looking and applying in industries after your masters, and you can in during the process of joining the company you can always bargain negotiate this because industrial phd is expensive. They don't invest it in everyone for that purpose. But if they see that you have the potential and in the longer run the industry will be going to get benefited from you, they will obviously do this and it will help you in your longer run a big way because you have an upper edge from all the other freshers PhD who are joining the industry after their PhD directly. So keep this in mind. Now, Mr. Jain, when you were enjoying, the research in industry, climbing on the path of success and the ladder, when you said, okay, now I am well established in industry, people knows you, you got all the recognition which you could have. What made you think that now let's start our own industry? Because after having the most stable career, all the goals achievement is there, then you choose, okay, now let's take a dip dive. And then because in startups in India, almost I think every day there are new startups coming up, and a lot of them vanishes within a year or sometimes even less than a year. So when you were making this choice from well established to start a thing new, if you can share the thoughts and the journey behind that.
Yes, this is most exciting part for me. So before jumping onto the what you asked or asked me to explain that, one thing I would like to say, whoever are the other end of the internet, specifically students, look, both research as well as industry, all are time consuming, and they want your 100%. You know, so both are challenging fields. Industry has its own challenges because after some time you may feel that it is a monotonous doing every day the same kind of production, or the one who is in quality control doing same kind of testing, or who is in quality assurance or in regulatory, same kind of work. But this will happen in research also. Once you are done with your PhD, if you are in teaching, doing same kind of classes and all those, until you have certain kind of project or passion which you have applied for, or you got some kind of research topic with you. So you need to find your own challenges. You need to overcome them. You need to find your own ways how you can break those monotony and uh, update your skill set, learn new things, even in industry. So this is what I did in my industrial career, commercial part of manufacturing, because not only research I was involved after that scale up, how these flask level studies taken to scale up, then further to mid size of studies, and then finally commercial scale. So all these things is science. And whatever you are learning from the day one, everything helps you in one way or the other. So it was a journey which will be really enriching. I was learning kind of regulations, what kind of regulations are required to be for vaccine or biological products, you can say biologics. Then the kind of you can say update and evolving, because it is a ever evolving industry. Biotech, whether it's a science or as a technology, both in both way. Every year or two, you get new things in hand. So it is difficult to be implemented in industry, but you need to be get updated every day, so that though probably not in 2 years it is getting changed, but definitely in 5 years regulations are changing, getting more tough. It is most regulated industry in this world. uh, I'm talking about vaccines. So uh, you know, learning all those things, then you get audit, you face audit, you go for various kind of country audits or WHO or USFDA or sort of. So every day is a learning experience, and it enriches your knowledge. Doing this continuously for almost 22 years, I realized that it is time that I am giving all my experience to a company where I am working. Why don't I should give it to a venture which is my own? So then I started it with one of my friends. We had, meanwhile, we had exposure for all developing countries like India, obviously, but like Bangladesh, China, uh, Egypt, Iran, Russia. Russia, we spent a good time over there. In China, we spent good time. Even in Wuhan, where this virus, COVID virus, was released, as they say, the Western world. So that institute was can be seen from the lab we work, or from the company we work. Window of that, we can see that institute. So, and countries like Nicaragua, countries like Ethiopia, Egypt. So we worked over many countries and got international exposure and enriched our knowledge how this industry works, how research and new technologies can be thought of and implemented if we start our own venture. So this is how the uh, total experience of my commercial field, industrial field, and international exposure that we brought into our new startup. So we founded Invigorate Biotechnologies, and specifically we are working in entirely new field, that is cell and gene therapy, and we are working on CAR T cells and CAR NK cells, for CAR T and CAR NK cells, and even vaccines. Definitely yes, new age vaccines and subunit vaccines, and probably we will go for mRNA vaccines also in future. So this is are the challenging things we would like to do while getting exposed to the new things that what we can bring in our fold. So these are the mix and match things which we thought of. But yes, it was a conscious decision.
Mhm.
It
So
was a
this is
conscious decision.
for all the entrepreneurial brains who are currently researchers and planning to set up or start their own ventures. Based on Mr. Jainendra Jain's suggestion, one thing which I can say, that getting enough skills is very important, and getting all
Very
the
important.
different kind of setups which you are planning to work with. As Mr. Jain mentioned, his experience abroad, you know, that what are the potential countries you are targeting to your product will be delivered, or either for collaboration or for productions, like different part of it, either it is regulatory or through the process or the qualities, all these things if you consider, then what you can do is you can minimize the chances of failure. Additionally, one of our researcher celebrity, Professor Janet Hemingway, who started so many things till now, and with 100% success, all the companies she started, are, some of them are unicorns, the others are doing well, but there is zero shutdown since she started a company. All the reason behind that is the way they have prepared themselves, the way they have envisioned the future of a company. So you have to be, yes, again, going back to the same point that nobody knows that what will happen in the future, but it is sure and certain that the way you have equipped yourself will be responsible for the success, as well as for if there are a lot of shortcomings, then the failures are inevitable, which is one of the things when it comes to a middle class family, a researcher who's very optimistic, very enthusiastic, want to start up, and then get, we'll say that the backlash from the company or the from the family, friends, that why you are doing this once you have an established career, just pursue it. Family is happy, you are happy, let's do it. But the soul of a researcher, if they really want to do something, it is unstoppable. And going back to Mr. Jain's experience, so Mr. Jain, now the company is almost 2 year done. How you see the opportunities which you create? Because now in India, we talk about Make in Bharat, okay, all of that, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Based on that, if you can tell something to the researchers who are either planning to start their own startup or are like, okay, let me rephrase it. The role of collaboration when you are starting your own company or a startup, how crucial is that?
Very important. I would state it it is time of only association and collaboration. I cannot be the person who can do all things. So one has to acquire certain skill set. He may be expert in certain part or certain things, but cannot be expert in all things. There may be, but those are, I would say, birle log hote hain na, exceptional. I'm
Hmm.
not that exceptional, but yes. So, like my partner, who is upstream expert, he is fermentation expert, and I have acquired knowledge and experience in downstreaming as well as in formulation. So, what kind of formulation you can say related to vaccines and biologicals? I probably I will do it. I will acquire knowledge if I don't know, but I will do it. Purification protein, whether it is protein or polysaccharide or any other antigen. Uh, so this is what important thing that your skill set, your experience, failure may be there, but yes, collaborate to the right mind, right people. And one important part that our government is really pushing and doing, I would say, fantastic. Those who are into startup or industry, government is supporting like anything, I would say. So take those leverages, prepare yourself, uh, chop down your ideas, find a partner or the person who can support you. If not, because I believe that everyone has those entrepreneurial skills, and somewhere in the back of their mind or whatever you say, they just need to polish it, discuss it. Probably one idea may fail, but other must definitely it will be click. So this is how today's time is collaborate it, find a right partner, and you can look. Government may support in financial, your family may support in financial, but it is you who will invest in your idea. It is who you will invest in your work. So make it like this. I started in December 2022. In 1.5 years, we made it auditable form. So if we want, we can go to private limited or we can keep this LLP tag. But in 1.5 years, I am an auditable firm. So my revenues are 2 CR plus. Uh, we are a team of 10 people. So you can say we have given job to 8 of the team members, barring me and my partner. So definitely I am contributing in some way or other to the country's growth, to the individual's growth. And this is what most satisfying and most challenging, because in midnight, 2 o'clock, I get up sometime, and there is a idea, or you can say fear, not idea, fear, that what happens if next move is failed? How can I fulfill the dream of those 8 people who have joined me? So something like more challenging things definitely keep coming. Failures will keep coming, but you have to iron them out. You have to take those challenges on your chin, and then move on. Keep doing your things. Plan it better and do it. This is
Absolutely.
what I would say.
Well said. So, with this, we are at the edge of the conversation, and I would like to know the word of wisdom from you based on your experience, how you can guide the future generation of researchers.
Doctor, I use two words very frequently. That is attitude, and other is adaptability. If you don't develop the attitude for the work you want to do, you may face more failure. And so attitude is very important, because other things you can acquire. Attitude, uh, bringing that attitude in you may take time, and it may take really good time. So you can acquire knowledge, you can acquire skill, but the kind of attitude required for to pursue for your dream or goal, it is the kind of passion you require. Uh, the attitude is must be with you. And the other thing is adaptability, because sometimes things may not happen the way you like them to. So you need to be flexible enough that you can adopt those changes, because you know changes are bound to happen. You may not like certain things for certain time, but once you are adapted to that, you will start following them, you will embrace them. Things will be easier, and one day you will find it may take 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, but one day you will find that it was bound to happen, and it is better that I adapted to this, and now we can move on. So these two, three things one must imbibe and plan accordingly.
Absolutely. With this, we'll say to all the audience that if you want to connect with Mr. Jain for more guidance or mentorship, you can write to him. If you want Empowering Sense Foundation to help you bridging these gaps, we are there to support you. All we ask is like you have to have the passion. And now Mr. Jain has said 2 points which I would like to reiterate, that you have to have that attitude and the adaptability, and we will ensure to take you to your success. With this, we'll say thank you very much, Mr. Jain, for this motivating as well as like telling them the reality check that okay, they have to be prepared for that. So with this conversation, I believe it will help many of the young brains and ignite them, and they will start preparing themselves for their success in future. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Biotech has a huge future. Government has recently launched Bio E3, so it is going big way. The biotechnology market would be 300 billion USD. India only, I am telling you, in next 10 years, specifically 30 to 35, 2030 to 35. So you can see the kind of opportunity it is bringing to everyone. So prepare yourself in that way, get ready, and you can touch the heights.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. To
Thank you,
all the
Doctor.
audience, stay tuned for another researcher celebrity episode and enjoy the research. Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Jain.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much for having me.